Okay, in this short tutorial we're going to talk about Windows management, so managing the windows and viewing the windows on your screen, whether they're File Explorer or other windows. So again, how to open File Explorer? Well, you can load any of your shortcut links, or you can click Start, and this little symbol here is File Explorer. I also have one down here as well. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to this starting view. So I like to start typically on this PC. So in terms of managing multiple windows on your computer, there's a few tricks. So first, you should already know that any window can be moved and dragged around from the top. It can also be resized from any corner or any edge. So if I want it to be taller, wider, I can move it from any corner or any edge, okay? Everything inside will kind of readjust to fit whatever you've set it at. So for example, if I was looking at this, there's a point there at which it jumps to the next, you can see it's just spilling over to the next line. It doesn't affect any of your organization. There's a couple other quick tricks that you should know. First of all, if I want this to be full screen, there's a few different ways to do it. I believe there's 3 different ways to do it. So first, I can click on this button, and that will maximize this shape. To get it back, I click that button again, and it will restore it down to its former size. So whatever size you had it previously, let's say if we make it really tiny, if I go big screen, and then I click that again, it'll go back to the size it was before. So that's a useful little trick. However, there's 2 other ways to do this very easily. And the first is to just double click on this top bar. If you double click, it goes full screen. If I double click it again, it's going to restore it down. So maximize is this button. This is the maximize window button, but you can also just double click and it'll go maximize. And then double click again to restore down. And then the last trick is to grab this bar and slam it to the top. So boom. And when I do that, you'll see that if I click on this and I stop right at the edge, you'll see that there's this kind of glass shape filling up the whole screen. And that's showing me where it's going to go when I let go. And the reason that's important is because now, to get it off, I can just click it and drag again and pull it off. You can also do that left, right, and in the corners. And this is very useful when you're managing multiple windows at the same time. So the one that is probably the most useful and the most common is just left or right. So I'm just going to grab this and slam this over to the left side. And you'll see that there's that glass window that pops up. So when I let go, it's going to fill that left side. However, interestingly, what it does then is it shows me all of my other open windows. And so any one that I click will now automatically fill the right side. So this could be very useful if, for example, I wanted to copy something from an external hard drive to a location in my computer. I could kind of go to the location that I want. So in this case, I'm in my Fauna and Focus folder. And I could go over here to my external hard drive and find something that I need and copy and paste it over to this location on my computer. So having these things be able to kind of automatically split side by side is a very useful little trick. However, you should note that you can also do it in the corners. So if I go like this, you'll see that glass shape is kind of sitting in the corner, and when I let go, it's going to fill up that little top right corner space. And then it's going to give me options. Hey, do you want either of these 2 windows to appear in the rest of the space? So if I click, let's say the Fauna and Focus website, then that will actually fill up that little section there. So these are all just little tips and tricks on how to kind of manage multiple windows at the same time. So this is kind of, getting a little bit crowded. I typically would use the left and right. I don't really think that, unless you have a huge computer screen. If you've got a really big computer screen, this, quarter view works okay, but it's not my cup of tea. And then one last little trick is if you do have some window organized like so, in the remaining space, if I was to drag this over to the right side, it kind of knows that I've changed the width of that location. And so if I wanted something to be really narrow like that, I can just resize one window and then that will automatically fill up the other side. So that's some useful tips and tricks about, managing multiple windows in File Explorer. So it'll even do it for the corners as well if everything is out of the corner. So here, if I drag that to the corner, it's going to fill up that halfway space. So you can set up things up like this. So yeah, that's kind of managing multiple windows, and you should get fairly accustomed to managing windows like this because it'll make you work faster. And I cannot recommend working with 2 monitors enough. It's one of the best ways to increase your work efficiency. The last trick on this, before I move on, is when you do have multiple windows open, there's a quick way to move between them, especially if you have a lot of different windows open, and that is Alt-Tab. So if you hold Alt on your computer and press Tab, you'll see this menu pop up. And every time you press Tab again, while Alt is still held down, if you let go of Alt, that comes up. But if I hold Alt down and I keep it down, and then I press Tab one time, now this menu pops up. And every time I press Tab, you'll see that white box is changing, and it's asking me which application do you want to bring to the front. And wherever I let go, that thing will pop to the front. You can also Alt-Tab and then just use your mouse to select a window that's open. And when you select it, it'll come to the front. And then the last trick you can do from Alt-Tab is you can actually close windows that you don't need anymore. So there's a little X that appears over them. And so if I don't need the Fauna in Focus website anymore, I can just close that, and it'll actually close the window. But this stays up until I let go of Alt. All right, moving on. Next subject.